Mecha Break is a game about anime characters piloting giant robots. Those robots then move fast enough to liquefy them like a world-class blender. That is serious. The cinematic trailer for this game showed that the pilots do in fact experience G-force, meaning that if you ever do movements like this, you will likely result in a nice and delicious pilot smoothie. Cannibalism aside, Mecha Break is a game of excess. The mechs are excessively big, the gameplay is excessively fast, and I am excessively addicted. It's been 2 weeks since this game released, and I have already played for 50 hours, occasionally getting into top 50 or top 100 for my region. At one point, I was hearing this sound effect as I was trying to get to sleep, meaning I've done at least 10 times more research than your average games journalist, and also have a rapidly declining mental state. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the big robots destroying each other. First off, what is Mecha Break? I'll try to give you the general idea as fast as I can, and if you already know Mecha Break or have seen the summary as a YouTube short, skip to this timestamp. You'll be controlling a giant robot called a mech, which you'll use to fight and destroy other mechs, similar to a game like Armored Core. Unlike Armored Core, you won't be able to create and customize your own mech, and will instead have to choose from a preset roster, just like a hero shooter. Each mech has different weapons, abilities, and stats, and I can't cover them all here, but if you want that, leave a comment and I'll make a separate video. During combat, movement and resource management are just as important as your aim. If you keep the enemy in the center of your screen for a short period of time, you'll lock onto them, causing all your attacks to automatically aim towards them. There are many different ways of avoiding or preventing lock-on, but the one that every mech has access to is simply moving out the way. The best way to do this is by using one of 4 special maneuvers. You've got a dash, a jump, a sprint, and a fast fall. However, 3 out of 4 of these special maneuvers will consume energy, shown by this bar here, which is why resource management is so important for most mechs. Some mechs survive by just being insanely tanky. There are currently 3 game modes. Operation Storm, or Mashmak, is a PvPvE extraction shooter. You'll be dropping into a large map and fighting NPC enemies to farm weapons, cosmetics, and stat upgrades, which you can then use to upgrade your mech. Once you've farmed enough items, your goal is to leave without dying, because if an enemy player kills you, they'll be able to take all of the items that you've collected. Whatever upgrades you make to your mech only apply in Mashmak and do not affect other game modes. Ace Arena is a 3v3 PvP game mode where the only goal is killing the enemy team. It's also the only game mode where you can swap characters whenever you die. Operation Verge is what I would consider to be the main game mode for Mecha Break, and is 6v6 with one of 5 objectives. There's kill the enemy, move the payload, capture the thing and hold it, and capture the thing and move it to the place. Summary over. Now that you have a better understanding of the game, and I have a short I can use to promote this video, let's go into more detail. The first thing you'll notice when you look at the game, it's the stuff you can see, the graphics. And boy, does this game have graphics. As you can probably already see from whatever gameplay I'm putting in the background, this game looks pretty cool. All of the mech designs look sick as hell and do a very good job of visually representing what the mech can actually do. And when you're actually playing the game, it is a spectacle to behold. I do wish I had any sort of artistic capabilities whatsoever, so I could talk about what I think makes the game look so good, but I don't, so I'm just gonna say it looks cool. But it should be noted that the spectacle can sometimes result in moments where you're left wondering what the is going on. And this really isn't helped by the sheer pace of the game. Mecha Break is an incredibly fast game, to the point where I'm sure some people either won't want to or won't be able to play it. Like, we're talking Titanfall speed here. Mecha Break's moment-to-moment gameplay, how it feels to press buttons, is phenomenal. And unlike the visuals, I actually can talk about what makes the combat so good. The combination of all the different combat systems, the lock-on, the movement, the energy management, makes gameplay feel exactly how I would imagine piloting a real mech would feel. It's what made it really clear to me before I even saw the giant statue in their office, that the devs of this game are giant mecha nerds, which means they actually wanted to make a mech game rather than an Overwatch clone. Looking at you, Gundam Evolution. Because of this, there are a lot of differences between Mecha Break and traditional hero shooter gameplay. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I'll just go over some of the biggest. The most obvious is lock-on. If you keep an enemy mech in the center of your screen for long enough, you'll lock onto them, and all your attacks will automatically aim towards them. Now, if you're like me, when you first hear this, you'll probably think, oh, that sucks, so it's going to make the game way too easy. No. Without lock-on, the extreme mobility of this game would be completely unviable. Your average player would not be able to hit anyone. You may be thinking that Titanfall is also incredibly fast, but people are still able to hit shots. However, Titanfall's movement is primarily momentum-based, making it much harder to instantly generate speed or change direction. Lock-on in Mecha Break allows for some very interesting character design and makes it so, while good aim is still useful, your movement, positioning, timing, and resource management are just as important, especially so in 1v1 combat. And 1v1 combat is something you'll have to get quite good at in this game because the time to kill is much higher. Well, most of the time. And this high time to kill is fairly universal. The squishiest mechs have various ways of getting away or making it really hard to hit them, and the tankiest mechs require multiple people if you want to kill them in less than 10 minutes. Last difference I want to talk about, because this section is getting really long, is verticality. Every mech is able to fly, meaning gameplay isn't limited to the ground, and map design isn't limited at all. This results in some very cool looking maps that just wouldn't work in other PvP games. Now here's the part where I would talk about all the stuff I don't like about the gameplay, but literally the only thing I can think about is like some balance issues that are honestly pretty minor, and in some people's opinions aren't even issues, so I don't really have anything. Next up, customization, because it's actually very good for a PvP game. You're able to fairly extensively customize the appearance of both your mech and your pilot with certain limitations. For the mechs, it's similar to the IRL models you can buy, where you choose what colors to paint them, and the character creator is fairly in-depth and allows for a lot of variation. With certain limits, it's monetization, obviously. I mean, what else would it be? The majority of hairstyles, eye colors, and clothing options must be purchased with the premium currency. There's also an extra agreement where you spend $50 for a unique pilot and a mech design. I personally don't give a shit about this. Games have to make money, and cosmetics are the best way to do it, but I know that some people do, so I thought I'd at least mention it. The premium currency itself is also a bit weird because they implemented the Warframe marketplace. So people are able to, for premium currency, buy and sell cosmetics, and also the different things you can get in the extraction shooter game mode, which makes Mashmark pay to win, and also basically guarantees that some people are going to be grinding that game mode to sell the items and core they earn for real money, which it's just a weird system to put in. But let's move on from the weird systems to the systems that just straight up suck. Or more accurately, one system that straight up sucks. Ranked has two main problems. Number one, bots. All the way until Grandmaster, your games will have incredibly dog bots in them. They're put into the majority of lobbies, I assume, to reduce queue times, and if you ever lose a few games in a row, you might be put into a primarily bot-filled match to be given a free win. People have been complaining about this since the betas, and the devs have never acknowledged it, so it is probably not going to change. Second problem, the rank system just inherently boosts players. Until you get to champion rank, which is here, you get more points from a win than you lose from a loss. You also cannot derank out of a division, meaning if you get boosted up to a rank where all the other players are better than you cannot drop out of that rank no matter how much you lose. They also recently made it so that you cannot lose points in bronze, silver, or gold, which doesn't really make a difference because you barely lost anything anyway. Now you may be thinking, Kitsu, you're not in any of those ranks, how does this affect you? With how the system currently works, even if a player is complete garbage, playing a lot of games will cause them to slowly move up in ranks. And since they can't demote, they'll eventually end up being repeatedly put in lobbies which are much higher rank than their skill level. Also known as my lobbies. I don't want garbage players in my lobbies. It reduces the overall matchmaking quality and turns matches into a coin flip of who gets the most of humanity's detritus on their team. And for the players who get boosted, it just completely ruins the game for them, since they'll just keep getting the kicked out of them and have no way of dropping down to an appropriate rank. Ultimately, the system was implemented to maximize player engagement. People are more likely to play if they can see number go up and feel like they're improving. But in the long term, it'll likely have the opposite effect, if there have already been multiple cases of people getting to higher ranks and finding it completely miserable. Mech games and mechs in general are a niche genre. I think that niche has gotten bigger in recent years, but it is still a niche. And this makes it much harder to get new players to even try the game in the first place. And when niche games have systems that heavily degrade the gameplay experience, those niche games might just end up dying. I love Mecha Break. It's one of the best PvP games I've ever played, and I really want it to do well. So I just want to say to the developers, get your together. Like, how hard is it to just make a normal ranked game mode? Why is your system so bad that I need 2 whole minutes just to explain everything wrong with it? Ultimately, it is what it is. Even if this game doesn't improve, I will probably keep playing it because I am still incredibly addicted. And to my fellow pilots who are enjoying this game alongside me, I want you to know that Stellaris is a piss-easy baby mech, and everyone who plays it is a carried piece of dog. Okay, and that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. I stream on both Twitch and YouTube, so come say hi. I'll probably be streaming Mecha Break as this video releases. For the next video, I'm probably going to try and do something with a bit more of a story, so look forward to that. But for now, that's all folks. Tune in next week.